Hello, everyone. My name is Sean, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to set up LinkedIn ads for your digital ad campaign for electronic marketing. And you're likely going to be using LinkedIn ads if your client is a B2B client. So, for example, we use LinkedIn ads for our client, which was selling employee benefits to other employers. So, we thought it'd be an effective way to reach other employers. Or another example would be if you're trying to reach individuals that are in a specific industry. So, let's say your client sells products directly to marketing professionals. LinkedIn would be a great platform to reach somebody based on their employment status. When we used LinkedIn for our campaign, it was very effective and drove the most results for us. So I highly recommend using it, but make sure it's relevant for your client. So in order to get to LinkedIn ads, you can just start by Google searching LinkedIn ads, and you can click any link that says LinkedIn ads or has the business.linkedin uh, hyperlink. So click on that, and then we're gonna go to the LinkedIn ads homepage, which is gonna look something like this. From here, you just wanna go to create a campaign. This is going to take you to the LinkedIn Campaign Manager. And if you're signing in for the first time, this is what it's going to look like. It's just some preliminary account setup. And you can do this with your personal LinkedIn account. You don't have to immediately sign into your clients or create one just for this. You could do it off of your own personal LinkedIn account. But for the sake of this demonstration, I created one. So we'll just name the account Electronic Marketing's ad account. And don't worry too much about the name of this. You can always add accounts under your existing account. Like you can have multiple accounts under the one account. And then the one thing you want to change here is the currency will be in USD. So just change that to Canadian dollars. And then click agree and create account. So then it's going to take you into the LinkedIn Ad Manager, and it's going to immediately take you into a campaign setup page. We're going to back out of this just so I can show you the rest of the interface, but that's mainly where you'll be working in. So we want to go to the advertising tab, and this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time. All the other panels here are kind of secondary. They're just for extra, more detailed information. So a lot of the campaign setup will be on the advertising tab. You're going to start with a new campaign group here. This is just a generic umbrella for any campaign you're going to create. So we're going to click on the new campaign group. It's going to take us into that. And then as you can see here, we're now in the campaign tab. So we can now set up an individual campaign. So if you click on create on the left-hand side here, click on create a campaign. It'll then take us to this tab again, which is where we were when we first logged in. It'll make sure we want to put it under the campaign group, which is fine. That's where we want it. And we'll click next. So from here, we now want to select an objective. So according to your client, they're going to have an objective of their LinkedIn campaign. So it might be driving people to the website. It might be creating leads for their product. It might just be brand awareness. They want to get a bunch of impressions, et cetera, et cetera. Pick the one that's most relevant to your client. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'll just select brand awareness. So from there, the interface is now expanded. We have a bit more information and we have a bit more we can do. So the first thing you'll notice here is there's a forecasted results panel on the side here. And that's telling you how big your audience is, what your spend is going to be for 30 days, how many people you're going to reach over 30 days, and what the CPM is, stuff like that. This will be adjusted as we start to add more filters and segment our target audience further. So the first type of segmenting we're going to do is we're going to segment by location. So right now it's just selected as Canada, but we're going to go in and edit by clicking on the little pencil here. We'll get rid of Canada, and let's say our client operates in Ontario. So we're going to type in Ontario, and then we can just select Ontario, Canada. So as you can see on the right-hand side here, the target audience size is adjusted. It's gotten smaller because we've narrowed it down to just Ontario. So let's say they are good with that. They want to target everybody on Ontario, except they want to exclude people in Ottawa, for example. So then you can click the exclude button here, and we're going to type in Ottawa because we don't want anyone in Ottawa. So we're going to remove them. And as you can see, there's a few options here. So there's like downtown Ottawa, there's the greater Ottawa area. So let's say we don't want anyone from downtown or the greater Ottawa area. We're going to include that as well. So typically there's a few selections you can make if you're targeting one area. So if you're targeting Vancouver, for example, you may have to manually include North Vancouver, West Vancouver, or some of the lower suburbs like Surrey, Burnaby, etc. We had to do that for our client. So just be aware of that the overarching filters may not include everything, and you may need to add more than you think. Okay, so we're good with this. Our client wants everyone in Ontario except for people in Ottawa. We can then target based on profile language, so people that have their language set to French if we just want to reach French people, or we can set it as English, so we'll leave it as English for now. And then this is where a lot of the segmenting comes into play in this who is your target audience section. So in this section, you're going to want to do a lot of narrowing, and it's going to open this window. For the audiences tab, this is going to be if you have run a LinkedIn ads campaign before, or if you have existing audience groups set up already. That's when you can go into these and use those a little bit. But if your client is using LinkedIn ads for the first time, they likely won't have anything under this tab. So we can just go to audience attributes. So audience attributes is where you're going to segment your target audience based on the industry you're reaching, who the person is, what job role they're in, anything like that. So I'll take you through each of the tabs. The first one is company. So you can segment based on the company category, the connections, the growth rate, the industries. This one is a popular one, for example. So let's say we're targeting people who are in the retail industry. We'll use that to ensure we're reaching people just in the retail industry. Or company size is another popular one. So let's say we're only targeting bigger companies. So we want to include 1,000 to 10,000 plus employees. We'll segment based on that. But as you can see here, when you click multiple segmenting bases on this, it's going to give you the or option here. So the company industries, for example, we have it as retail, which is fine. That's what we want. But we want it to be and. We want these people in the retail industry and to be in businesses that are this size and up. Whereas now it's saying we're targeting people in retail, or we're targeting people in companies that are this size and up. So it's kind of two segmentation bases right now. You'll likely want to combine them and make sure that it's and. So to do that, you're just going to click the or, the blue or, and switch it to and. And it'll kind of separate them and make them two different panels here. But that's how you know that it's like filtering down further. They're in the retail industry and they're in a company that's this size. Okay, so we'll add a few more qualifiers or go through a bit more of the qualifiers. So demographics, we can look at age or we can look at gender, education. You can look at what degrees people have, what their fields of study were, or what school they went to. For job experience, this is another popular one. Whatever job function they may be in. So let's say we want to target um, people who are in retail, they're in big companies, and they're in the marketing department. So we're going to target those people specifically. So we'll select marketing, and job titles is another popular one. This is where you can type in any job title out there if you want to get very specific. So let's say we're looking for brand managers. From here, we can select exactly the role we want to target. So if we just want to target brand managers, we'll include that. But as you can see, if you're watching the forecasted results panel here, our audience size is very small, and LinkedIn suggests that we have an audience size of 50,000 or more. So because we're segmenting so hard with our location and then these attributes here, we've made our audience a little too small. So I'm just going to remove those, but they are valuable tools to use for sure. Then you can include member skills. So these are skills that people will have listed on their LinkedIn page. You can target based on that. Number of years they've been in the industry. And then the last category here is interests and traits. So these are based on groups that members have joined or common search themes for them. That's how you're going to target them. And again, they're very general, but you can get more specific based on what interests you want to target. But these are more niche, and they'll decrease your audience size quite a bit. So be sure you're using them strategically. Okay, and then lastly, similar to the location, you can exclude people if you have a certain audience that you really don't want to reach. So let's say we're targeting people in retail and we really don't want to reach people in construction. So we'll just be sure to include that. Make sure we're including those people. Then there's this button here, enable audience expansion. Um, this allows you, so this is an estimated audience size, but once the campaign is live, LinkedIn may find that there's other people out there that are relevant to the audience you've created, and they'll expand it automatically based on their algorithms. So I recommend just leaving that checked because LinkedIn is pretty good at expanding it in a proper way. And then as you can see at the bottom here, there's an opportunity to save this audience. So let's say your client, this is going to be a popular audience for them. They're going to be targeting them quite often. So let's save the audience. You can name them. So this is retail professionals. And you can provide a description. So retail individuals in large companies. That's an explanation of our target. We'll save it, and then I'll show you how you can access this later on. But it's good if you've put a lot of work into creating this audience to just have it so you can reference it and use it for later campaigns if needed. So from there, we're going to select an ad format. So these are all the different types of ads you can put on LinkedIn. So there's a single image ad. This is just your typical in-feed ad, one image, carousel image, so multiple images in the feed, video ad, a video in the feed, text ad, spotlight ad, follower ad, a document ad, or a conversation ad. So a conversation ad is when you get the sponsored LinkedIn messages right to your inbox. These can be valuable as well. It really depends on what your client is, what they're trying to achieve. So I would align with your client on the best type of ad to reach your target audience effectively. So let's say we just want to do a simple image ad in our target audience's feed, hoping they scroll across it as they're scrolling through their LinkedIn feed. So we'll leave it a single image. Now, this is where you're going to have to put in your company profile or the company you're working with, so your client. So let's say, just for an example, we're working with the North Face. I'm going to put in North Face, and we're going to associate this campaign with that company. So click Associate Company Page, confirmed. So now this is a campaign we're creating for the North Face. So the last section here is the budget and schedule. So your clients will provide you with a budget, and that's what you're going to have to work based off of, and you'll have to edit these amounts as needed. So for budgeting, as you can see on the right-hand side here, there's estimated results. As I mentioned earlier, the forecasted results panel, and it'll actually tell you, it'll give you an estimate of how much you're looking to spend. So as you can see here, we haven't touched the budget at all, but right now the estimated spend is $990 to $3,000. That's quite a lot. You definitely won't be spending that much. So we're going to go in and adjust, but keep in mind that these budgets are more of a ceiling. These are the maximum amount you're willing to spend. These estimates are more accurate to what you will actually be spending based on the segmentation you did. So let's set a lifetime budget. This is typically what you'll do for your campaign. So in my experience, most client budgets are a couple $100s. So let's say we're putting $400 into LinkedIn. And this is our lifetime budget. So you can either set a daily budget, a lifetime budget, or both. Typically, a lifetime budget is good enough. Your campaign is just running for 2 weeks, and you kind of want a ceiling on it. So we typically use lifetime budgets. So as you can see here, we have a lifetime budget of $400. Our estimate has now adjusted to $97 to $399. So a bit of a range, but we know we're going to be within our client's budget. And then additionally, your campaign is typically going to run for 2 weeks. So it started on the 21st and it's going to go to the 4th. And as you can see on the right-hand side here, the forecasted results panel is adjusting the impressions, the cost per click, or cost per mil, as you filter it down further, as you adjust your budget. And one thing I forgot to mention, a pretty valuable tool here is the Show Segments button on this panel. So you can kind of, based on your segmenting you did earlier, you can play around with what LinkedIn thinks you'll be targeting based on the settings you've put in. So job function, it looks like we're targeting a lot of sales and operations people, some marketing. You can also go to what industries you're targeting. So again, we selected retail. It's 100% retail, but there's further breakdowns on what retail industry it's in. Or we can look at the company size, so what the makeup of which industries and which company sizes we're targeting. So this is just valuable to provide a bit more information and to ensure that you're targeting the people that your client wants you to target. So valuable tool there. Just keep that in mind. And then lastly, bidding. So this is going to be how much you're bidding on your ad to be displayed over other ads in someone's feed. So LinkedIn will provide a bidding optimization goal based on the objective you set in the first place. So our objective was brand awareness. So their bidding goal is for reach. But you can select either reach or impressions based on what your client's goals are. And then you can also adjust the bidding strategy. So there's 3 options here. Maximum delivery. So this is LinkedIn will kind of bid as they see fit to ensure you're getting the placement in the feed. or you can set a cost cap manually. So our CPM was at a cost cap of $79 for 1,000 impressions, which is a bit high. Let's say we want to lower it to 50. We can do that automatically, but LinkedIn is recommending a cost cap of 79, or you can do manual bidding. So again, LinkedIn will provide a suggestion, but most advertisers are bidding between $50 to $200 for 1,000 impressions based on this audience. So you want to make sure you're being competitive. Typically, you'll just use the maximum delivery method. LinkedIn will bid based as they see fit, and they'll stay within your budget. So typically, you'll just use the maximum delivery. And then lastly, there's an option to include conversion tracking. So this is if someone clicks on your ad, you set up what a conversion means to you or to your client, and LinkedIn will be sure to track when a conversion has occurred. So let's say the goal of your ad is to just get someone to click on it. That counts as a conversion. You can create a conversion. So we'll name it ad clicks. We want to track the number of outbound clicks. Value is in Canadian dollars, track for 30 days. Move on to the next step. We're using it for this campaign, so we don't have any campaign set up already, so we'll just click next. But overall, conversion setup is a bit hard to set up, and it requires your client to be very involved because they need to put a code onto their website to make sure a conversion is actually tracked as a conversion by LinkedIn. So it would require a lot of collaboration with your client, and it does require a bit of effort. In my experience, we didn't set up a conversion tracking system. Your client may want to, they have the option to, but it does require a bit of effort. So they would have to put the code on their website, and then you can also put what URL the ad is driving to, and it would then count that as a conversion. So we will skip this for now because again, it's very client specific. So all your segmentation and your budgeting is now done. So we're going to move on to ad design. We'll save this, and then we move to ad design. So for ad design, you will need access from your client to create an ad for them. So when I put in North Face in the previous section, you'll need to request access for the company that you input for that section. So you would need to click request access. I'm not going to request access because North Face would not want me doing that. But if your client is aware that you're requesting access and you're communicating with them that you need access, you would just need to go to the question mark here and then click request access. Then you would be able to click the create new ads button and create your new ads from scratch. But as of right now, I'm only able to access existing content that North Face has posted. So I'll load an example here. So yeah, this is an example of what a LinkedIn ad would look like. We're using the simple single image ad. So you can create some copy here, link it out. You can have an image, and then it links out to a news page link here. And then you can also see what it looks like on different types of feeds. So that was desktop. Here's how it looks like on mobile. So let's say this is the ad we want to promote. So we'll click sponsor. And then it'll load it into the system. And this is where you can edit ads further. If I had access, you can go back in and edit the copy. It'll also typically say if your ad is effective or not, just based on LinkedIn's algorithm. It'll tell you if your ad needs to be improved upon or you need to add more to it, maybe more copy, a better image, things like that. It'll say if your ad needs a bit of work. Um, so yeah, let's say for the sake of this tutorial, this is the ad we created. This is the ad we want to move forward with. We would then move on to next. And then this just gives us a final summary of everything we've set up. So we want to drive brand awareness. We're targeting people in Ontario, but not in Ottawa. They're in the retail industry, they're in large companies. Our total budget is $400. It's running for 2 weeks, and we have LinkedIn automatically bidding for us. Here's our ad. Everything's good. We would then click launch campaign. Now, it's going to ask me to set up my billing information. Do not put in any billing information because it will start charging you as soon as you click a campaign to be live. And if you have your credit card in, it'll bill you, and you will get charged as the campaign runs. So don't put in your credit card information. Wait until your client inputs their credit card information. So we'll back out of this. So we'll go back into the homepage and I'll just run through a few of these tabs that could be useful for your digital ad campaign. So we're back on the advertising tab here. As you can see, we have our campaign group here. So let's rename this. We will rename it to e-marketing test. So this is our campaign group. And then within the campaign group, we have the campaign that we just created. Again, we can rename this. And if you want to go back in and edit anything, so let's say we want to adjust our audience after the fact, that's where you would go. You would click the three dots to the right of the name here and click edit. This will take us back into all the campaign settings. And then you can rename it by clicking on the top left here. So this is our North Face test campaign. So now that's been renamed. We'll save and exit. Okay, so we're back on the dashboard here. Just a few things I wanted to call out, mainly around audiences. So if you remember, while we were creating our audience or segmenting our audience, we saved them. So this is where you can access your saved audiences after the fact. So if you go to plan, then audiences, matched will be if you run a campaign, they'll track what accounts you're interacting with, and will create kind of a matched audience for you. But because this is a new account, we don't have a match audience, but we do have our saved audience. So this is the one we renamed Retail Professionals. That's the one we used for our North Face campaign. If you click on it, you can get a more detailed breakdown of what the audience is looking like. So we see that most of them are in Toronto. The next most densely populated area for our target audience is Brampton, Mississauga, etc. You can zoom in on the map here and see all this visually. This audience is interested in brand management. They're also interested in software development. What are their attributes? What companies are they in? So this is just where you get a lot more detailed information on your audience, and you can click in and get very, very detailed. So what function they're working in, what level of seniority are they in? Most of them are entry level. So anything you want to know about the audience you've created, this is where you would go to get a more detailed breakdown. So plan audiences and then click in here. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know to start setting up a LinkedIn ads campaign. If you have any questions as you're going through this, definitely reach out to your professor. If you need help with segmenting or bidding, anything like that, reach out to him. but this should give you kind of the groundwork on how to set up a LinkedIn ads campaign. So thank you guys for listening and take care.